It's stump punching. That's a very interesting day of cricket. Team India playing some very, very dominant cricket, and let's hope they continue their form. This is the post show, and Joydeep Mukherjee is here to talk about it with us. Thank you so much, Joyda, for joining. Joyda, let's have you talking through this last session. What India did, your summary of it.
Yeah, I think it was a tough period of play, and India to get control of this match had to dig deep. We've lost 3 wickets, which so even more so because with Hanuma Vihari gone, Virat gone. So Rishabh Pant also is not playing his aggressive way because he knows that this is a very important passage of play. And in this passage of play, it is important that India doesn't lose wickets, even if the runs don't come by, for the same reasons I've been harping all day. The fact that we're already up in the series, if the series was 1-1 or if India was behind, it's different. So only from here, the only way that England will come into this game is if India get out early, because then there'll be a reasonable target. But if India take time to get the runs, then two things happen. One is that England have less time and England have a lot of runs, which both of it is difficult. And
Yes.
England will go for it because they're out of the series. They're already 2-1 down. They don't mind losing 3-1, but they would want to make it 2-2. So that's why the target
Yes,
has to be that the target has to be that difficult for England to get in terms of runs and time.
absolutely. And when this session resumed, it was looking a bit shaky for India, and then suddenly, Virat Kohli once again getting dismissed. He is still struggling to find his form. At that point of time, things were looking a bit slow for India, but then once again we have our savior Rishabh Pant and Cheteshwar Pujara finally ensuring that after that third wicket falls, India doesn't have the loss of any wickets. And before stumps was declared, we had Chitishwar Pujara getting his much deserved made half century. So from here, with day 3 ending and India ending their day on 125 for 3, there is a lead of 257. How do you see Team India taking field on day 4 from tomorrow? As in, do you wish to see them batting throughout the day, or you see them declaring the innings?
It all depends on how the morning goes. If India lose 2 quick wickets, then they will take longer to declare. If they don't lose wickets, I also have to reiterate here how important Cheteshwar Pujara's innings is, because he's on a comeback after all. He was dropped from the Indian team. He's batting out of position. He's batting at number opening. He's used to batting at number 3. Often people can say it's a difference of one position, but it makes a huge difference for somebody who's not never opened a batch at 3. So kudos to him and a huge credit if India goes on to win or draw this test match and save the series or win the series 3-1, then this innings of Cheteshwar Pujara's is should be the highlight. I know Rishabh Pant will be in the first innings, but even Cheteshwar Pujara, because it's not easy making a comeback after 80 test matches, playing in foreign conditions, or batting out of position, getting a very valuable 50. And also, not just the runs, but the amount of time he has taken. He has eaten up those balls. That's important because the more balls you play, the less balls England plays, and the less the chance England
Yes.
has to make up the runs. So that's the reason why it's very important for him, the role that he's playing. Because everybody else in
Mhm.
this team from now on are all shot makers, but he is that one
Yes.
rock, and him and Pant are an excellent combination because he holds forward and Pant can play his shots. Although Pant also shot shop towards the end because he realized the importance of being around for today. They were giving him some bait. So Cook was Root was bowling to him the outside off stump, giving him a lot of bait, but he didn't fall for it because his plans were clear. It's amazing to
Yes.
see a young player like Pant to have so much of plan, and we might see a different Pant tomorrow in the first 1 hour if he survives in the next 1 hour. So that's how your plans change according to situation. If Pujara gets out, Pant plays one way. If Pujara is there and they are both 35 runs in the first for 1 hour with no wickets, then Pant changes the gear. Whether he goes from 1-2 or 1-3 or 1-4, time will tell. So this is why the the we love Test cricket so much because so much can happen. If India lose Pant early, what does Pujara do? If Pant loses Pujara early, what does Pant do? So there are a lot of variables that come into play, and that's why it's so interesting. because none of them, you can't put a template to it. All of them are different because all of their strengths and
Yes,
weaknesses are different. That's what makes these games so good and so intriguing.
absolutely. And continuing on this point that you mentioned, what would be a good target according to you that India should set? Like, if, for example, if we actually see India not getting bowled out and actually declaring the innings, and tomorrow will be day 4, what is a good target according to you on these conditions? Because you have now stated that batting conditions are becoming a bit tough. So what is a
No, the
good
batting.
target that you see for Team India to set to ensure that they win it?
So the wicket has been difficult all 3-4 days, and there's wear and tear, and I suppose on fourth and fifth day there'll be some help for the spinners. We have Jadeja. So having said that, I want a 600 total in mind because we have won the series. I don't mind 700 also. The target would have come into play if India had to win this test match. Yeah, they will have to win, but they don't have to win. It'll be nice to win. You look at the bigger picture. 2-1 ahead in the series. So if you go ahead and win, it's 3-1, great. But you don't want to make it 3-1 and make it 2-2 also. So there's a fine line between that. So that is where they will have to take a call. And I think the people in charge are vastly experienced. The coach has played 164 test matches. He's been through many such situations. So they will give them a target which will be not impossible or improbable, because if it's impossible, the game is dead. But it's improbable. And England will have to go for it because they're out of the series anyway. So we are all set for an intriguing 2 days of test cricket left.
Intriguing 2 days of test cricket left. This was all from day 3. Once again, Joyda, it was so nice hearing from you. Team India, as you have correctly mentioned time and again, are in cruise control, are playing dominant cricket, and we do hope that they end up finally on their historic win from this test. This was day 3 from this rescheduled 5th test. Thank you so much, Joyda, for joining. We meet again for day 4 tomorrow. Until then, thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night.
Good.